Welcome, you're on the Fringe Show. I'm your host, Zalan, and I go live every Friday at 2 p.m. Dubai time. The Fringe helps you to navigate the rapidly changing world and increase the odds of your success. Here we discuss technology, startups, entrepreneurs, and mental models of successful people so that you too can take advantage of the opportunities in the new digital world. Today is episode number 37, and it's dedicated to a new frontier in NFTs, photography. The current market for NFTs, NFT photography, is approaching somewhere $1 billion, and it's growing rapidly. It's still small, but it's growing. And in particular, this show is about one of the most exciting creatives in the world and who is barely 30 years old. His name is Justin Everson. He was born in 1992. He's a famous photographer, one of the most commercially successful photographers of our times, who ventured into NFTs and feels as comfortable in the digital space as he is in this physical space. The motivation for the show was one tweet that I saw by Tim Salihov or Salihov maybe. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing probably this name correctly. And he said that twin flames, and that's Justin Everson's collection, should be the required case study for any photographer entering the NFT space. So that intrigued me a lot, and I decided to explore a little bit further. I'm also drawing on some work by Bankless in particular, who did a very long interview with Justin Everson. So this show would be probably most interesting to creators as well as collectors of NFTs, and in particular with an interest in the photography space. Just the usual disclaimer here, it's not financial or investment advice, or everything that I'm doing on the Fringe Show is for informational and educational purposes only. Let me see if I can bring up his picture. It would be good to have a look at the master himself. So let me share my screen. Maybe I can do that quickly. Okay, I hope you can see Justin right now. He's born, as I said, in 1992. He's also only 30 years old, if that. And here he's with his famous Polaroid, I believe. He's very fond of that particular camera. Let me get back. Now, I'll talk a little bit about the origins of his collection and how he got started in the photography space and in the digital photography space generally. So that's going to be the background. But also we will be looking at what lessons can creators and collectors as well, maybe startup founders as well, learn from Justin Everson and his incredible success and very short success that only started just really recently. So it was success a long time in the making, though. There was a lot invested in of his time, of his passion, and of his talent. So how did they start? Twin Flames, his collection, I'll show you a couple of maybe images from that collection, is a visual elegy to the twin sister that the artist never knew. She died, unfortunately, in his mother's womb. It's also an indirect tribute to his mother, who passed away of cancer before he became famous. The idea about the twin flames came to him in about 2017. Before that, around 2015, Aversano teamed up with Travis Ricks to co-found Save Art Space. It's a non-for-profit organization that works to create an urban gallery experience by placing a physical art on ad spaces throughout various cities. It can be on billboards, it can be on bus terminals, and so on. This art is often acquired through an open call submission process and carries a social justice message. In February 2017, he was having an exhibition of some of his images, and this is where he spotted two identical twins who were entering the gallery. And he immediately knew that he had to take advantage of the opportunity. So he asked the twins whether he could shoot them. And then he was later looking at his Polaroid later that night, and he absolutely knew that his next project will be a series about twins. So it was really on the spur of the moment and very much an improvisation kind of thing. He went back to these twins and showed them the photo. He said that he will be in touch with them in a couple of months when he had all his gear ready. For years, Justin has been in tremendous pain and trying to mask his pain of loss, trauma, and disconnection with various substances and psychedelics. And this prenatal disconnection, as he calls it, was the catalyst to begin the twin flames healing journey. He embarked on an adventure around the world in search for self-discovery, mending all traumas. He wanted to go on this healing journey through art, something that he understood, of course, to build connections, build community, and perhaps find peace with himself. He traveled to many places around the globe, to Peru, New York, and California, London, many other cities across the globe, to capture the essence of being a twin. The production process took probably just over 1 year, from May 2017 to July 2018. This is when he took his last photos in London. So the True Flame collection is a series of 100 consistent but slightly different photographs of twins from around the world. And although it wasn't his original intention back then, he didn't know much about NFTs, but the format itself happened to involve CryptoPunks and other successful NFT projects, and that they're made of multiple similar images with some multiple and slight variations. A turning point in his career came when Aversano met G Money. He was a major advocate and collector of NFTs who worked very closely with CryptoPunks, who are seminal artists in the NFT space. Aversano saw on the Instagram post that someone had paid over $150,000 for a single CryptoPunks NFT, a record at that time. Now, of course, they go for much, much higher. Justin reached out directly to this collector on Clubhouse and asked if he would be interested in buying the full analog Twin Flames collection. Clubhouse, by the way, is a new social media forum and it's become a central hub for artists and collectors. So that's the place to be. Another place to be is Twitter Spaces. They kind of a competitor to Clubhouse. But anyway, the collector was very interested, but only if they could be sold at NFTs. So the whole collection could be sold at NFTs. G Money and other people close to the CryptoPunk movement encouraged Aversano to let go of his attachment to the project as a whole. And Aversano realized that he could allow the project to exist centralized in the physical world and decentralized in the digital world. So that's an interesting dichotomy here. So the plan was to mint the images as separate NFTs. In February 2021, so it's more than 1 year ago, Justin minted the entire Flames collection as NFTs on OpenSea, and in a few days, the collection sold in its entirety for Ether. At the time, this equated to roughly $100,000 US, and Justin, thankfully, thanks to the sale, became debt-free, and he incurred quite a lot of debt when he was traveling, a little bit out of work and buying new gear and so on. Many of the buyers were members of the CryptoPunk communities. There were photographers and even some whales in an NFT space. Between sales and resales, 100 ETH altogether has been spent on this project, which is, when you think about it, pretty amazing. After clearing all of his debt, Instead of spending the rest of the money on nice gadgets, Aversano used the proceeds from the sale to purchase the analog work of the mixed media artist and activist Swoon. So he was supporting a community member, right? And he also bought a CryptoPunk NFT and some Bitcoin as well. So what happened to the physical collection? Well, what happened to the physical collection is quite remarkable, because Justin initially came up with a project. He was attached to the idea that there would be one art collector or institution buying the entire physical collection to display it together. The project was kind of a family, a community, and he wanted to see it in one large gallery displayed side by side. He self-published a book of the collection and had quite a few exhibitions throughout 2019. But the big breakthrough came in October 2021, when the entire collection of photos, the physical analog collection, was auctioned at Christie's. It was, interestingly enough, it was fully physical, and there was one NFT minted, and that was the cover of the collection, Twin Flames, number 83, featuring Iranian-born, Boston-raised girls, twins. I think probably one of the most remarkable stories is around the sales history of the photo that has the tag number 49. And this features his former photography teacher, Alison Aliano, whose twin unfortunately passed. I will show you this particular photo. It's quite interesting. With the first sale, he initially had no intention to sell this number 49, as it was one of his most personally valuable to him in the collection, because of this connection with Alison Aliano, his photographer teacher. But at the same time, there was Sotheby's natively digital sale going on at that time. And so the whole community said, well, why, Justin, don't you put this particular photo for sale for the forthcoming auction? And he's elected to use this image 49 for this purpose, because he wanted to donate back all of the proceeds to Seven's Grant, which is an organization which puts money into the photography community. The piece, that particular piece, number 49, sold for just over $35,000, and at that time, all the money went to Seven's. On this decision, when he was asked, well, why did you do it? Justin said, well, I was chosen by the community, and so I needed to give it back to the community. There was a second sale for this piece in particular, because this catalyzed the position of number 49 as the community twin in the collection. The anonymous buyer, who bought at the Sotheby's for around 14 ETH at the time, decided to fractionalize ownership and set the reserve price at 500 ETH. It met the reserve price and sold out on August last year for just over 500 ETH. And that was sold to Louis, who is one of the founders of Fingerprints DAO. And this is a bit north of $2.3 million. Fingerprints DAO and Aversano then came up with this idea to conduct a party bid for the next sale. A party bid is essentially the opposite of fractional ownership. If you are interested in parentheses, what fractional ownership is, what it does to art, and particularly NFTs, you can go and check out one of my latest, most recent shows as well. So with the third sale, so that was the second sale, but there was also a third sale. And with this third sale, history was made again. Justin initially set the reserve price to 1,000 ETH, because the plan was to give all the earnings to pay it forward and support 1,000 photographers. The reserve was lowered a little bit in the first week, but the community still managed to raise well over $800 ETH to bid on the image. It was really a community event. There were more than 600 people involved in this party bid, and all contributed 1 ETH or sometimes more. And based on the price of it at the time, that's just above $4 million altogether. So just pay attention that just in July 2021, it was sold for 35,000 K. $35,000. And this is where it really gets very interesting, because nearly all is from the sale went directly into a raw DAO treasury with the intent to reinvest all the money back into the photography space. The sale didn't go right into the pocket of faceless developers or investors, as it usually happens, but Aversano managed to cultivate an entire NFT photography community around this idea of giving back. He's now onto other projects, and particularly a project, a startup that he called Quantum. As a curator and tech entrepreneur, he recently raised $1 million to launch this platform. It's his own NFT platform that will cater exclusively to photography. This photo NFT platform then raised more money in Series A, $7.5 million. And the very first collection that went into it is what he calls Project Zero, Smoke and Mirrors. For Smoke and Mirrors, Aversano is photographing 78 sets of artists, astrologers, psychics, tarot readers, and other forms of mystics from all around the world. Each subject represents a unique tarot card. He's creating a body of work focused on the existence of magical and mystical through an immersive portrait survey and tarot readings as well. It's not just a digital art gallery, it's also a physical space, which he's building. It's not ready yet. It will be ready in sort of mid-2022 this year. This is a big space in Santa Monica. It features an NFT gallery, a minting center, many screens, a metaverse immersion room, artist and residence spaces, and an exclusive collector's lounge open only to quantum key holders and their guests. So it's like an exclusive membership. So now let's have a look after this background. What are the lessons that we can learn from Justin Everson and his art and his success story, of course? First, lesson number 1, give back. When he sold his physical collection at Christie's, that went for $1.1 million hammer price. After all the fees, he got something like 900K, and half of that, exactly half of that, he gave to NFT Save Art Space. That's the non-for-profit that's dedicated to bringing community art to public spaces. He also allegedly paid out the twins who took part in the photo sessions. So bulk of these proceeds, something like 200K, went out to the twins. And he's also helping young artists. So give back. Lesson number 2, be open to learning. Justin himself recognizes that when he started, his interest in crypto started long before his interest in NFTs. And at that time, he got wrecked with Bitcoin and with Litecoin. So he was kind of very wary about the crypto space. Then about 2017, Ethereum came on stage. He got interested in Ethereum and then got paid in Ethereum. He discovered NFTs through Clubhouse in early 2021. And remember all the story, how he reached out to the collector on Instagram, G Money. Well, he was curious enough to learn why someone would pay so much for a JPEG. And so he reached them out. But when he sold his twin flame NFT collection, he didn't go out and spend it on nice things, but he invested in a CryptoPunk, and that was done to learn about the NFTs even deeper and to learn more about how you build a community. It's interesting how he sees NFTs, and I must say that he changed my own mind about NFTs after I listened to him. The question on Banker's interview was, well, NFTs are hyped up. Is it a new paradigm shift to express culture, or is it just a bunch of people shilling their crypto things? And Justin Averson's answer was that NFTs are just digital twins of physical reality. They make things easier to access. The assets are more transportable, and you don't take care of them in the physical space. And for a true artist, it means that you're connecting with the collector in a way that the collector understands. Crypto collectors don't like physical things too much. They like carrying their collectors on their phone if they want to. Lesson number 3, build a community. I'm citing here Louis DT, who writes on NFT photography. He's also an NFT investor. Many photographers come from a framework of art fairs. You come, sell, and you go to the next fair. But the NFT space, where provenance and community is everything, requires a different dynamic. You have to stay. It's a never-ending fair. Some will be okay with this. Some will say they're too old, too busy to bother. But this is exactly what Justin did. He bought a CryptoPunk straight after the drop, entered the community, and gets to know some of the most influential people in crypto. He advises them on photography. He collaborates with them to raise the awareness of twin flames. Justin got to know his collectors very well. He spoke to these people about his photos. He told their stories hundreds of times, thousands of times perhaps. And those who didn't need or didn't even have twin flames all of a sudden wanted them. So Justin went back to his collectors, many because they were already had made 10 to 20x on these photos they agreed to sell. So Justin brokered more than 50 deals and sales in 5 months, and that earned his collectors over $2 million. Lesson number 4, tell a story with your art. Let me show you one particular twin flame, which is number 49, and I already mentioned it before. Let me share my screen with you. So that's twin flame, Alison and Courtney Aliano. As you can see here, what you see here is Alison is staring and is alone. She's staring in the mirror with her eyes closed. It's a deeply, deeply personal and poetic photography, which he himself, Justin, describes as a photography about death, loss, and family. And in his own words, Alison Aliano is standing in her home in Los Angeles, looking into the bedroom mirror, reminiscing of her deceased twin sister, Courtney. Alison is holding Courtney's death certificate to honor the presence of her long-lost twin. The mirror acts as the conduit to connect with the spirit world. With Alison's eyes closed, she's standing in front of her own reflection, which symbolizes the unconscious communication with her departed sister, Courtney, a representation of duality as seen through the looking glass. This photograph, in Justin's words, is a portal for capturing, processing, and releasing deeply profound emotions, an artwork that serves as a totem for catharsis, breathing between the inhale and exhale, when everything in the room becomes one. Her reflection is like a play on Plato's allegory of the cave, what is real and what is not. Let me get back to Now that's lesson number 4, tell a story. That lesson number 5 is be genuine and authentic. When I'm looking at the space, too often I see a lot of imitations, a lot of copies, a lot of copycats. Now, CryptoPunks and Bored Apes become very popular, so everyone's trying to somehow imitate them. Now we see camels, we see cats. It's all following fashions and prescriptions. And Justin Everson is not like that. He's saying, this is the art that I make. I don't change it for anyone. Take me on as I am with my art. And probably it's time now for a couple of closing remarks. Just a few more lessons, a recap from Justin Everson's success. Firstly, give back. Very close to that, build a community and give back to the community. Be open to learning. Tell a story with your art and be genuine and authentic. Well, thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for joining me. And I hope if you're a creator or you're a collector, this will be useful to know for you. What sells, what makes art art, what makes photography successful in the digital space. Thank you for joining again, and I see you next Friday at 2 p.m. Dubai time. Now, time a little for some music.